Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this narration of the web novel Humans Don't Make Good Familiars, taken from Reddit. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Suma's point of view. Okay, I'll try, he said. I could see him from my perch and watched as he was surrounded by a dark blue cloud of his mana. Then it rushed into him, disappearing from view. Oh, wow! He exclaimed and started swimming again, much faster than before. Twice as fast, maybe even 3 times. I couldn't help but be slightly jealous. It took me a month to learn that spell properly, and he did it in a mere moment. This is amazing! He yelled out excitedly. You're going much faster now than before, Jake, I said. I was about to congratulate him for learning the spell so quickly, but a slithering black mass on the shoreline caught my eye. Jake, the black serpent is at the shoreline. No, heck no, Jake yelled, frantic. Don't worry, that type of familiar can't swim, so it'll have to go around the lake. But you'll need to hurry. It is a rather swift creature, I explained, and watched it quickly make its way around the shore. How long do I have? Jake asked. I turned back to him. He seemed to be swimming faster than before. Not long. Don't slow down, I told him seriously. Jake was halfway to the island and was closing in rapidly. But the serpent, despite having only just arrived, was already over a quarter or a fifth of the way around the lake. Jake's point of view. I swam as fast as I could. It felt like some points I was only skimming along the water's surface, but it wasn't fast enough. Jake, the familiar's already halfway there, Suba yelled. I was grateful to her private connection at this moment. The ability to ask her questions and get updates without having to actually speak was useful when I was focused on swimming. I felt my hands hit the sand and I knew I was on the island. Suma, I'm on the island, I announced and cast a spell that forced all of the water away from me so that I could run along the sand. I dropped to the ground and bolted for the prize. It was some kind of golden shaft, and there were several of them in a circle. Well, almost a circle. Some of the prizes had already been claimed by the familiars that went before me. I picked up on and called out to Suma, Suma, I have the prize. Great. Head towards the exit as fast as you can. I will. But you need to do the same, I said. But why? Just go. I'll explain as you fly. I said and started running towards the exit, thanking my lucky stars that the physical enhancement spell Suma taught me was still active. Or else I would have dropped from exhaustion by now. Just as I was about to turn to leave the beach and head for the exit, the black serpent slithered up behind me. Narek Isbala's point of view. Loyalty was making excellent time in the trial, perhaps even fast enough to beat the previous record, but that wasn't my goal. I reached out to him and thought of the Rite of Dominance spell and tried to gauge how tired he was. He seemed to be fine, but I wouldn't be able to push him much further without putting him in danger. I looked through his eyes again to see where he was and what his situation was like, and saw something quite interesting. The Viking familiar swimming across the water. Strange, I would not have guessed that he would have been able to swim, I said to myself. I realized that if loyalty had caught up with him, then that would mean that he would have to go much faster, or risk failing the trial. He would most certainly like to push himself harder than normal, to his very limits even. What are your limits, Viking? I wondered aloud. Within moments of this, the Viking cast a spell to disperse the water in front of him and ran to the prize. Loyalty was close, so I ordered him to slow down a bit and save his strength. But even if he did that, he would still arrive at the prizes shortly. Loyalty's hearing isn't great, but his sight is amazing. And with it, he saw that the Viking was talking to someone, probably his master. Soon, Loyalty arrived at the prizes and came face to face with the one called Sentinel. Ah, crap, the Viking said. You're pretty big, huh? I couldn't communicate with the Viking, not through Loyalty at least, so I had no way to answer back. Not that I would know what to say in such a statement anyway. Was he trying to talk to me? No. He was talking to my familiar. Sentinel began to back up and slowly make his way around Loyalty, never once taking his eyes off of him. It seemed he was afraid of Loyalty. Suma, as soon as you arrive at the exit, summon me. He was talking to his master, planning to get to the exit quickly so as to not fail the trial. Then, don't land, just get close to the ground before summoning me. How far will you push yourself if properly motivated? I wondered, and came up with a plan of my own. Suma's point of view. Suma, I have the prize, Jake called out to me. Great, head towards the exit as fast as you can, I told him, still watching the serpent familiar. It was almost at the prizes as well, and would be arriving shortly, despite the fact that it had slowed down. I will, but you need to do the same, Jake said. What? Why? Just go, I'll explain as you fly. I trusted Jake, and started flying towards the exit area Jake needed to be at. But just as I did, I looked back at him. The serpent arrived at the area with the prizes, the area where Jake currently was. Nothing happened yet, but I was still nervous. I knew in my head that it wouldn't hurt him. It was against the rules for familiars to fight while stationed at a training camp. But that was a little reassurance to me at the moment. I knew Lbry disliked, even hated Jake, so I feared what might happen. Suma, as soon as you arrive at the exit, summon me, Jake said, sounding quite uneasy. Halfway there, Jake, but I can't land, remember? If I do, then we failed the trail, I told him. Then don't land, just get close to the ground before summoning me, he said. Don't know if I can, but I'll try, I said, uncertain. I flew as fast as I could, even using enhancing magic to increase my speed. End of story. Chapter 78. Suma's point of view. Halfway there, Jake. But I can't land, remember? If I do, then we failed the trial, I told him. Then don't land, just get close to the ground before summoning me, he said. I don't know if I can, but I'll try, I said, uncertain. I flew as fast as I could, even using enhancing magic to increase my speed. The moment the gate entered my sight, I started diving towards it and getting as close to the ground as I could without losing speed. But that was made a bit difficult. The trees were too dense to fly quickly through, and I couldn't touch anything without being disqualified. Jake, there are too many trees to fly close to the ground, but if I get any higher, you might get hurt when you fall. I think I have an idea for that. Just summon me near the gate if you can, he shouted. And the sooner the better. I think the snake familiar is chasing me. I turned and examined the area where Jake was running from, and saw that he was right. The familiar was chasing after him, but quite slowly. Jake seemed to be running as fast as he could, but it was still nowhere near as fast as the serpent could go. I do see him behind you, Jake, but it's moving slowly for some reason, I said. I find that hard to believe, considering I haven't been able to lose it yet, Jake countered. He was starting to sound tired. His enhancement must have been fading. Jake, that creature is much faster than you. If it hasn't passed you yet, Jake, I think that it might be chasing you, I yelled. I didn't know what to think. What was Lbryk's familiar doing? Did he lose control over it? No. If he had, the beast would already be on a rampage, not slowly stalking Jake. Lbry is still in control, which means he ordered his familiar to do this. I figured that much already. He hasn't attacked yet, but that could change. Are you at the gate yet? Jake shouted. Yes, I said as I arrived. Summoning you now. I looked below me and saw the tree full of branches. I hope you have your armor on, Jake, I said to myself, and then began the summoning spell. I summon you, Sentinel. Jake appeared before me slowly, hanging weightless in the air. That is, until the summon was complete. Then he fell, hard. He seemed to hit every single branch during his fall through the tree and hit the ground with a meaty thud and a groan. Are you okay? Without a word, Jake summoned a small dull jar of mana and placed the end of it to the runes in his armor. His armor began to glow a soft green and was wrapped in magic circles. The effect of his healing runes had started. That hurt so much, Jake complained and slowly stood up. Are you sure that you are okay? I asked, looking him over while maintaining flight. I think so. Which way is the gate? He asked. Follow me, I told him, and headed towards the gate. We bought you some time, but the serpent is fast. Jake was worn out from the healing runes, but he still had some of his enhancement left, so he was moving about around normal speed. That being said, it was still incredibly slow. Suma! Jake said, breathless. "Could you wrap me in mana and carry me? I think I'm about to collapse." "I'm sorry, Jake, but the rules strictly forbid that. I don't think I could anyway. You're quite heavy." He sighed and kept going. Eventually, we made it to the gate, and Jake collapsed as soon as he crossed it. "Finally," he said, relieved, and lying motionless on the ground. "Good job, recruits," a voice said from behind us. Jake didn't even bother lifting his head. I turned and saw that it was the instructor for the training. "If your familiar needs medical attention, then tend to him and unsummon him. Then report to your evaluation with the rest of the recruits who participated today. They are waiting at Field 1 for everyone to join them before they get started." I thanked the instructor and went to Jake's side. "Are you okay?" Jake didn't answer. "Jake?" I asked again. Still, he didn't answer. I was worried for a moment before I realized he was asleep. I silently cast another spell of healing on him and just to be safe, then sent him home and flew to the meeting area that instructor had mentioned. Once I arrived, I took a moment to look around at the other Niema who participated today. Among them was the nameless Niema who had a lightning familiar, a named Niema named Toman, and Vindicta as well. "Suma, I'm glad you passed," she announced, seeing me. "How did Jake do?" I flew over beside her and grew on a perch to rest on. "I think he did okay. He was exceptional at most of the obstacles, and had innovative solutions for ones that he was struggling with. However, he is still quite a bit slower than most familiars," I explained. Behind me, the sounds of a flapping and shifting vines let me know that another participant had arrived. It was Lbry Isbala. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this video. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. I hope you all have a fantastic one. Cheers. I'd just like to thank the T5 members and Patreons. Alithia, Barkey, Feudic Meridian 117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Albard and Guster, Lord Ashrikul, and White Van 420.